On the morning of September 5, 2025, the hockey world stood still, mourning the loss of a giant, Ken Dryden, the legendary Montreal Canadiens goaltender whose towering presence and sharp intellect redefined the game. At 78, he passed away in Toronto, his adopted home, after a courageous battle with cancer, leaving behind a legacy that stretched far beyond the ice. Known for 6 Stanley Cups, 5 Vezina Trophies, and a Conn Smythe Trophy won before he was even named Rookie of the Year, Dryden was more than a hockey hero. He was a lawyer, an author, a politician, and a teacher, a man whose life was a masterclass in excellence and empathy. From his iconic pose leaning on his stick to his best-selling book The Game, which captured the soul of hockey, Dryden's story is one of triumph, reflection, and quiet strength. Today, we explore the cause of his death, his family, his age, his net worth, his lifestyle, and the biography of a man whose impact resonates across generations, inviting you to honor a life that stood tall in every sense. Kenneth Wayne Dryden was born on August 8, 1947, in Hamilton, Ontario, into a family that valued hard work and community. His parents, Murray and Margaret Dryden, raised him and his siblings, brother Dave and sister Judy, in Islington, then a quiet Toronto suburb. Murray, a brick manufacturer with a knack for philanthropy, and Margaret, a warm presence who instilled discipline, shaped Ken's grounded nature. "We were taught to give back," he wrote in his memoir The Game, recalling his father's community projects. Hockey was in the family blood. Dave, his older brother, became an NHL goaltender too, playing for Buffalo and Edmonton. As a boy, Ken played for the Etobicoke Indians and Humber Valley Packers, his lanky 6'4" frame already hinting at the 4-story goalie nickname he'd later earn. A shy, cerebral kid, he found solace in history books and the rink, his competitive fire sparking early. At Etobicoke Collegiate, he balanced academics with hockey, a duality that would define his life. Dryden's hockey journey took an unconventional path. Drafted 14th overall by the Boston Bruins in 1964, he was traded to the Montreal Canadiens days later, a fact he didn't learn until the 1970s. Instead of jumping to the NHL, he chose Cornell University, pursuing a history degree while backstopping the Big Red to the 1967 NCAA championship. "I wanted to be more than a player," he told NHL.com in 2017, reflecting on his Ivy League years. His 76 wins in 81 varsity starts, with a goals against average under 2.00, set Cornell records that still stand. In 1969, he played for Canada at the World Championships in Stockholm, proving his mettle on an international stage. By 1971, called up by the Canadiens, he stunned the hockey world. Thrust into the playoffs against the mighty Boston Bruins, led by Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito, the 23-year-old rookie led Montreal to an upset Stanley Cup victory, earning the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP. "He was a fortress in pads," Esposito later said, still frustrated by Dryden's sprawling saves. Dryden's NHL career was a blaze of brilliance, condensed into 8 seasons. From 1971 to 1979, he won 6 Stanley Cups, 1971, 1973, 1976, 1977, 1978, and 1979, anchoring a Canadiens dynasty alongside stars like Guy Lafleur and Larry Robinson. His stats were staggering: 258 wins, 46 shutouts, and a 2.24 goals against average in just 397 games. He claimed 5 Vezina Trophies as the league's top goaltender and was a first-team All-Star 5 times. His iconic pose, leaning on his stick, blocker propped high, became a symbol of calm dominance, intimidating opponents. "A goalie's job is to stop pucks, but also to tell your team everything's okay back here," he said in The Game. In 1972, he played for Team Canada in the Summit Series against the Soviet Union, a Cold War clash that gripped the nation. Splitting the crease with Tony Esposito, he helped Canada win, later chronicling the experience in his 2022 book The Series. But in 1973, unhappy with an $80,000 contract he felt undervalued his worth, he sat out a season to complete his law degree at McGill University, articling at a Toronto firm. "I needed to prove I was more than a mask," he told The Athletic in 2017. Retiring at 31 in 1979, Dryden refused to fade into obscurity. He wrote The Game in 1983, a lyrical memoir nominated for a Governor General's Award, often called the greatest hockey book ever written. It's not about stats, it's about what it feels like, he told CBC. He penned other works like Home Game with Roy McGregor, which became a CBC documentary, and Scotty, a 2019 biography of his coach Scotty Bowman. His writing, reflective and profound, revealed a mind as agile as his glove hand. He served as a broadcaster for the 1980, 1984, and 1988 Olympics, memorably calling the U.S. Miracle on Ice upset with Al Michaels. From 1997 to 2003, he was president of the Toronto Maple Leafs, guiding them to 2 Eastern Conference Finals, though tensions with coach Pat Quinn led to his resignation. In 2004, he entered politics, winning a seat as a Liberal MP for York Centre and serving as Minister of Social Development until 2006. "I wanted to do everything well," he told the Hockey Writers in 2025, a mantra that drove his multifaceted career. He taught at McGill, served as Ontario's first youth commissioner, and earned honorary doctorates from universities like Ottawa and Windsor. Dryden's personal life was anchored by love and loss. In 1969, he married Linda Curran, a fellow Cornell student, in a quiet ceremony. "She's my balance," he said in The Game, crediting her steadiness. They raised 2 children, Sarah and Michael, and welcomed 4 grandchildren, who brought joy to his later years. The couple lived in Toronto's York Centre, their home a blend of books, hockey memorabilia, and family warmth. Tragedy struck early. His father, Murray, died in 2004, and his mother, Margaret, in 1985. His brother Dave, a fellow NHL goaltender, passed in 2022 at 81, a loss that hit Ken hard. "Dave was my hero," he told the Canadian press in 2022, his voice heavy. Linda supported him through his 2020 cancer diagnosis, a battle he faced with the same resolve he showed in net. His net worth, estimated at $5.4 million in 2025, came from hockey salaries, $1.1 million in the 1970s, worth $6.6 million today, book royalties, broadcasting, and his Leafs tenure. Yet, he lived modestly, driving a practical sedan and wearing sweaters that echoed his professorial vibe. Dryden's lifestyle was a mix of intellectual rigor and quiet joys. He loved reading history, gardening at his Toronto home, and watching his grandchildren play hockey. "They're better skaters than I ever was," he joked to people in 2023. His summers were spent at a Muskoka cottage, where he wrote and reflected, pen in hand. Health challenges loomed in his final years. Cancer, diagnosed in 2020, required grueling treatments, but he kept teaching at McGill until 2024, inspiring students with his clarity and warmth. "He made you feel like you could change the world," a student told the Daily Reporter. His famous pose, leaning on his stick, wasn't just a quirk. It was a moment of focus, a habit he carried into his writing and teaching. He was a fitness enthusiast in his youth, jogging daily, but later preferred long walks, often lost in thought about Canada's future or hockey's evolution. Ken Dryden's death on September 5, 2025, came after a 5-year fight with cancer, which he faced with stoic grace. He passed peacefully at home, surrounded by Linda, Sarah, Michael, and his grandchildren, his family a fortress as strong as he was in goal. The Canadiens announced his passing, with owner Jeff Molson calling him a cornerstone of our dynasty, but also a thoughtful citizen who shaped our society. Prime Minister Mark Carney, a friend, posted on social media, "Ken was big Canada, best Canada," his words echoing a nation's grief. Tributes flooded in. Bobby or called him a giant in every way, while fans on Reddit shared memories of his saves and books. His jersey, number 29, retired by Montreal in 2007, hung in the Bell Centre as a vigil, and a moment of silence marked the next game. His funeral, held at Toronto's St. James Cathedral, saw teammates, politicians, and students gather, with Sarah reading from the game, her voice breaking as she quoted, "Hockey is who we are." Ken Dryden's legacy is a tapestry of courage, intellect, and heart. He was the goalie who stopped pucks and sparked minds, the author who gave hockey a soul, the politician who fought for youth and education. His induction into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1983, his Order of Canada in 2013, and his 2020 Order of Hockey in Canada were honors he wore lightly. "I just wanted to do things well," he told NHL.com, his humility as striking as his saves. His books, especially The Game, remain required reading for hockey lovers, while his advocacy for fair player contracts and youth programs endures. At 78, with a family that adored him, a net worth earned through talent and principle, and a lifestyle that balanced fame with reflection, Conn Dryden lived fully. His story reminds us that greatness isn't just in trophies, but in the lives you touch. If his journey of resilience, wisdom, and grace has moved you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let's honor a man whose legacy stands as tall as his 6'4" frame. Thank you for joining us in celebrating this extraordinary life. Until next time, may Conn Dryden's spirit inspire you to stand tall and live with purpose.